I think that if I've learned anything about nutrition, it's that nutrition is a moving target. And I didn't always think so. I used to kind of believe in the orthodoxy of nutrition and that there's only one way to come under nutrition. And if you didn't believe in a certain way, then it wasn't wrong. You were wrong. You're a bad person. You can't be okay. Nobody can hang out with you. You're one of the bad kids. You ever feel like this? I did. I thought that. And then the thing I think that taught me different is, well, a couple of things. Do you remember the Atkins thing? Back in the mid-ish 90s, the Atkins diet came out. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, I remember the medical establishment just roasting that guy. And it wasn't just roasting that guy, it was roasting anybody that had anything to do with Atkins. And I remember full-heartedly jumping on that wagon. See, I had just had this newly minted college degree and all these certifications, and I just knew better, right? Atkins had to have been an idiot. So I poo-pooed it, and I listened to all the science, and the popular media of the day was just crushing it. Don't do it, man. It's going to kill your kidneys. It'll break your kidneys. And there had to be some truth to that. It couldn't have been all wrong. The problem became the years that sort of followed. I saw some people that were amazingly successful with Atkins. I know. Doesn't seem possible that, compared to what the people used to say about it, how it was just going to poison you in every way, you wouldn't believe it was possible. But then I start meeting these people, over the length of a career, you start meeting people that have had a lot of success on it, and they crushed it. I knew a guy that lost 160 pounds on Atkins, and he reversed a lot of his, according to him, he reversed a lot of his blood lipid profiles and etc. He just became more healthy. Was diabetic at the time, and he was able to reduce medications down to just pills instead of injections, according to him. I don't want to be the guy that says that's what happened. I don't totally know, but he said it. So that's a thing. And then I ran into that same guy years later, and he didn't look the same, and he wasn't quite as healthy. And I asked him what happened. He was like, man, I don't know, Atkins not working. And I promise you, I thought this, you're just weak. It's your fault. I've learned since that that's not true. I have learned since that nutrition is a moving target. What you do today for nutrition that works for you today with nutrition might not work for you next month. Maybe not next week. Maybe not, for sure not next year. And that's just how it goes. Another thing that taught me that was my own birth cycle. If you want a really good weight loss diet, relax, it's fine. Go to gppfit.com. Let me get you there so you can know. Go to resources, scroll down to nutrition. It's the second tab down, and go into weight loss diets. We got some good ideas for you in there. They're just ideas. Don't get crazy about them. They're just ideas. Nutrition is a moving target. Anyway, I wrote this diet almost 20 years ago. It's called the burst cycle diet. And you burst with extra calories on one day, and then you go under calories for 3 days in a row. And I have known people that have lost a lot of weight on that, have done very, very well on it. A year later, they came back to it. They had gone off of it and become successful, and they came back to it, and they're like, man, I don't know about burst cycle anymore. It must be false doctrine or whichever. It doesn't work for me anymore. And I was like, man, I wonder why. Because it's a diet, of course. I don't think that's it. Here's what I think I've learned. And I'll say it again, I think I've learned that nutrition is a moving target. And I think that your body was built to be, to consume different nutrients at different times of the year. I do. And if you think back 500 years ago, above the 48th parallel, you would have eaten very different foods each season, wouldn't you? You would have. Why is it reasonable now to expect that we could all eat the same foods all year long and do fine on it? Why is it even reasonable to imagine that a person could be as nourished at 40 by the exact same foods that they thrived on at 20? I'm not the same guy I was 20 years ago, 28 years ago. I'm not. I'm not the same guy I was last season. I'm not the same guy I was last week almost. Nutrition for sure, fitness for sure is a moving target. Don't buy into any one thing being the cure-all. There can't be. There's no way that's true. And know this, it might work for you right now, and that's cool. Well, that's the problem with diets, Neil, is they don't work. Nothing works, man. All that works is what's right for you right now. How do I know what's right for me next week? I don't know. You got to play with it. There's only one of us that would know that, and it sure wouldn't be me. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what your stress levels are. I don't know what your hydration level is. I don't know how much you're sleeping. I don't know your activity level. I don't know your exposure. There's a lot of things I couldn't know, and only you could. So what that means is we all have to actively participate in our own success for nutrition. I know this is a pretty long rant, but I just wanted to make sure I mentioned it. At GPP, I don't promote any one way of eating. I promote them all. Look, within reason, I promote them all. If you're going to get on the cabbage soup diet and think that just a little salt and cabbage soup is going to do for you, I don't know, maybe for a very, very short while that might work. I can't tell you what would work for you, but I can tell you that most things that we try ought to at least be tried. If we're struggling with our health, we ought to try something. We can't just sit there and try to do the exact same thing we've always done and expect different results. I mean, that's the very definition of crazy, right?